Hello, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound and healthy. And it is officially the 1st of January 2026. It is 12:07 a.m. And people are going around talking about New Year and this and that, and about what you've learned in this year and what you're thinking and this and that, which is all good. It's all fine and dandy. But I think the basic things that people seem to have not yet realized or learned is that although it's good mathematically or even for the sake of time, to measure time, it is good to be aware of the fact that there are 12 months in a year. And it is good to mark the beginning and end of a year. But other than that, it doesn't really matter. What's the new year? It's just the next day. Well, it happens to be the next year too. But ultimately, it's just another day in your life. That's it. And that is why I guess in Islam and in original Christianity and Judaism, in all monotheistic religions, there are no birthday rituals, there are no anniversaries, there are no New Year's. It's for a reason. These were actually very pagan. Again, we'll remind you, these are pagan rites and rituals that are deeply, deeply rooted in pagan religion, which is why they are not a part of monotheistic religion. And as the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, that you will imitate those before you. You will imitate the others to such an extent that you will end up in a lizard hole. Because they will go into the lizard hole, is what I'm explaining, and you will follow them there. Okay? So understand this hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him. The Prophet never celebrated his birthday. He never celebrated his wedding anniversaries. He never celebrated anybody's death anniversary, and he definitely did not celebrate the New Year. In case you've forgotten, we do have a New Year in Islam too. Muharram, the first month of a year, of any year. Every time we also begin a new year with Muharram, but you have never seen Muslims celebrate the New Year all over the world. Although people probably did start on a small scale to kind of do these minor events and celebrations that, oh, why shouldn't we? But yeah, we don't, because we don't. Because again, these are deeply religious rituals rooted in pagan religion. And we are not supposed to imitate the pagans. And this lizard hole thingy that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, this was not even about the pagans. This was about the Christians and the Jews, because yes, the companions asked him, who are you talking about, the Jews and the Christians? And the Prophet, peace be upon him, just looked at them and said, who else? Like, seriously, who else do you think I'm talking about? So yeah, who else do you think he's talking about? Seriously. So yeah, I do understand that sometimes parents, just for the sake of it, they do want, they do force you, that they buy you a cake and they force you that, oh, at least cut the cake. But as long as it's not a ritual, as long as it's not, but first of all, don't even do that, because seriously, cutting the cake, blowing candles, these are again part of pagan rituals. Stop that. Parents need to respect their children who do not want to celebrate their birthdays because they know that they're not supposed to. So parents need to, and that's again another problem. That's another thing that we are following our non-Muslim, faith holders, wherein we have to listen to our parents more than we have to listen to God. It's a dilemma that we're caught in, where we don't want to hurt our parents' feelings, and we justify that because, they bring in Islam, saying that, oh, in Islam, you're not supposed to. But you know what? In Islam, God takes precedence over your own parents. And the fact that in Islam, parents are supposed to respect their own children too. But parents don't. This is also a sign of disrespect. When your children tell you that they do not celebrate their birthday, but at one point you just have to do something. You just have to do something because you want to do something. So you have disrespected your child. As a human being, you've disrespected another human being. As a Muslim, you have disrespected Islam. And you have disrespected a Muslim who's trying to follow his religion properly. So you have really done a number on that person. You know, where's one supposed to go? Just putting it out there while we're at it, Fruit for thought, please. Fruit for thought. Not food for thought, but fruit for thought at this point, since it's the new year that everybody's so hooked up on. What you need to have learned throughout this year is there's nothing special about beginning a new year. That's what people should have learned. What is a new year? It's just another day in your life. It's fine. You've realized that 12 months of a year span has passed, and now another 12 months of a year span is to begin. And you have officially marked another year of your life gone. Yes, good to know. But then again, apart from that, seriously, what is there to celebrate about the new year? Why are you celebrating the new year? What is there to celebrate? Sorry, are we seeing any changes in Pakistan? Are we seeing any changes in our lives? Is there any reset? In Islam, there is a concept of reset. Yes, it's something that you do every day. You strive for every day of your life. Yes, in Islam, there is also a particular month that people like to use as a reset, and that is to reset their faith, their belief, their characters, their character flaws, their personalities, their habits, every kind of reset, spiritual, physical, financial, social, in other words, worldly and spiritual. So worldly and spiritual reset is there in Islam, yes, and that is your Ramzan, right? The Ramadan month, the month of the fasting. That is when you start resetting yourself on all levels. So yeah, we do have a concept of reset. But that's not the new year, is it? Ramzan is not the new year, is it? Not even in the Islamic calendar. It's not. Which tells you don't have to mark New Year's for a reset. In fact, there is no glow up. Sorry, there is no glow up. There is no reset. There's nothing. Life is just pushing forward. You are moving on with it. Time is running by. What you're actually right now calculating is time. What we are marking is time. Is that this much time has once again passed by us. This is what we're marking, essentially. Even in New Year, when you're talking about New Year and all, you're essentially marking time. So many years on this earth, and so many years off this earth, and where we stand. That's it, really. And it doesn't even matter. That is what you should have learned in this year. This is what you should have learned, that nothing matters. It doesn't matter. Time is flying by. You're just doing the math. You're just calculating how much time has passed, but you still don't know how much time you have left. The unsurety is still there. Again, what has changed in our life? Nothing. What has changed in our country? Nothing. Everything is just going in its own flow towards the worst. That's what one learns. No matter what you do, if God doesn't want you to get anything in life, you won't. That's what we learn. If you don't do anything and God still wants to give you something, He will. That's what we have learned. And we have learned that throughout our lives. You didn't need last year to teach you that. You don't need the next year to teach you that. What we've learned is, at the end of the day, everything is an illusion and everything is a delusion. And that the only way we can go through this whole hellhole, that's our country, and this time, and this life, is by just teaching our mind to let it go. Because the problem is that when our minds refuse to let it go, then there's no There's no going with the flow Zen attitude anymore. You can spend your whole life living in that illusion and delusion that you can let things go, that everything will be fine, that, you know, but actually what you need to what you need to actually learn and put into your mind, because this illusion, when it shatters, as I said, then you cannot go back. You can never go back. There is no peace. So instead of forming an illusion that can shatter, in fact, right off the bat, just teach your mind to understand that everything is an illusion and everything is a delusion, and there is no such thing as a hard and fast rule to anything and everything in life. And at the end of the day, there's no such thing as freedom of choice either. Because at the end of the day, we are all puppets. We're all puppets dancing in that invisible string held by those invisible hands. And nothing is up to us. Nothing. We may live under the illusion and delusion that we have some control, and that if we work hard, we'll get this, and if we do this, we'll get this, and if we do that, we'll have that. Yeah, that's just God playing with us in the sense that He is giving us the. Sometimes He's giving us the stick, most of the time, and sometimes He gives us the rewards. That's it. The candy, the sweet, the temptation, the sugar, whatever you like to call it. It's just that. It's luck. It's not, we call it luck, but it's actually just God doing whatever He wants, regardless of whatever we're doing and whatever we want. Strip yourself off of this delusion and illusion. Remind yourself that at the end of the day, we are helpless, we are puppets, there is no freedom of choice, everything is an illusion. And that's when you really learn to let go. There's no such thing as a New Year. There's no such thing as New Year celebrations. That is what we should have learned by now. That these are again just ways that human beings have designed to make themselves feel better. Literally, the only reason people have ever done birthdays or anniversaries or New Year's or, it's literally just to mark an occasion so that you feel that there is something that you can look forward to, or that there is something that you can pinpoint in your life and use it to mentally reset yourself. That's it, basically, if you know what I mean. I'm kind of running out of words here because somehow it's suddenly become difficult to articulate what it is that I'm trying to say, but I'm sure you know what it is that I'm trying to say. Because that's really it. There's just little ways that human beings have tried to anchor themselves in this world. Yeah, let's put it this way. To find a reason, to find a meaning where there's none. That's all. I'm sorry, but these are facts. This is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.